morning, everyone. Yes, it is. It is a beautiful morning.
It is.
I walked out of the house and it hit me. 85.
It's just started.
Just starting, yeah. So Carrie's going to be joining me in just a minute. Carrie Rodriguez. But as she, while we're waiting on Carrie, I do want to maybe just open up. Thanks for joining me. We have about 40.
No, you have 60.
Okay.
We have 50 chairs out and they're kicking 2 rows more chairs.
Okay. I think when we had the sign-ups, we might have had 40.
Yeah.
40 some.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, when we do these, we like to encourage sign-ups. That way we have the chairs set up for you. So anyway, I'm going to rewind just a little bit and a little bit of history that has got us to this point. So we started talking about hurricanes a few months ago, and in the initial conversations that we were having, it was somewhat status quo in terms of what we had done in the previous years. But I had a caveat in that presentation that the company V was looking at a different approach in terms of self-evacuation versus company-assisted evacuations. And then the next town hall meeting that I had, which was a pretty big one, we started talking about the self-evacuation and the per diem that was going to be taking place for individuals is $450, for a couple it's $600. And then we had a follow-up to that, which was a question and answer. It was sort of like an open forum, very similar to this, where we had a Q&A, and you'll find the answers to the Q&A from that meeting on the app. We have an emergency preparedness icon out there where the Q&A answers are loaded. And then we had Tom Dunnell. Tom Dunnell was a great presentation last week, gave us a high-level overview of what happens from a Hilton Head Island perspective, and gave us some really nice nuggets, in terms of how to prepare ourselves. And then I thought it would be good, since this is new for not only for you, whether you're self-evacuating or staying with us, but actually for a lot of our team as well, that it'd be good to have another Q&A or just another session for folks that are self-evacuating and folks that are going to be evacuating with the community. So right now we have 170, I think, 170-ish that are self-evacuating, and about 80 that are evacuating with the community. I'm going to open up with just some thoughts about self-evacuation, and then open the floor up for additional questions. So, has anyone been on the app, the community app, and seen the emergency preparedness icon that we have out there? Yeah, so we got it started. We actually loaded it in. It took us a little bit of time to get some information in there, but on the app and in that icon, you're going to find a few different things that I'm going to share with you. One of them is going to be a link to South Carolina Department of Transportation maps.
At some point. There we go.
Was there yesterday.
Oh, I didn't get it when I pulled it up.
Yeah, so I was able to pull it up yesterday. So if you're having problems, maybe take another look. It should be on there. There's the Hurricane Preparedness Guide on there, and then the 2025 Hurricane Plan. Now, the guide and the plan are documents that you already received, and those documents, we ask that you fill them out and get them back to us. So we probably have 96, 97% of folks that have returned those. There's just a few outliers that we're still waiting on, but we got most of those forms back in. You'll also find on there the hurricane question and answer. Your questions are answers to your questions, and hopefully that's helpful for you all. And then there's a couple other documents that you're going to find on there that I'll show you what they look like. One is a disaster preparedness guide for older adults. Hey, Gary, I saved you a seat.
Oh, yeah.
So that is actually loaded on there as well. This is a great little tool. It's fairly high level, but it really gives you sort of what you might need and to help keep you focused. And then there's another one, the Hilton Head Island Guide to Emergency Preparedness, This is the digitalized version that you can download off your website, but for those that were here for Tom Dunn's presentation, he actually has some copies for you as well. So you can find that digitalized version right inside the icon. So there are some resources that we currently have out there for you. We hope that they're helpful for you. There's going to be another document that we're working on right now, and it's really for hotels. It's going to have the 800 numbers for the major hotel brands, Hilton, Hyatt, and Marriott, which is a lot of hotels right there. So you might have already done some of your research in terms of which direction you might head, what areas you might focus on, which is great, and we would certainly encourage you to do that. But these numbers are going to give you they're going to be good tools for you in the event that you need them, because once an emergency happens and you start calling your hotels and you find that they might be booked, the 800 number, in my opinion, is the best approach, because then you're going to get somebody live, and then they're going to help look for, as an example, maybe look at in Augusta. Well, we don't have anything in Augusta, but I got something 20 miles out. So they're going to be able to take a look at Augusta, and they're going to be able to spread their search out until they find something for you. So that's why I say the 800 numbers are pretty good. You can also do that online. You can put in a radius in terms of your search. But lots of times if you're driving, it's going to be hard to do a search, so you might just want to use the 800 numbers. So got some good tools on that emergency preparedness icon. If there's something that you feel that we might need, you can let us know. We'll take a look at it, see if it's the right tool for you, and we can take a look at getting that loaded as well. So that's the emergency preparedness icon that's currently on the app. So hopefully you've had a chance to really think through this and what this might look like, feel like, and maybe a vision of how it might play out for you in the event that we have an emergency evacuation. I mean, we've already seen a couple storms. We had a tropical storm that went a little wide, that went up through Myrtle Beach and into North Carolina. Heavy rains, a lot of flooding up in that area. We've had this one, I don't even know if it's named. What did they say was not unorganized or something? It was an unorganized hurricane or storm. And if you looked at that spaghetti map, it was a bowl of spaghetti. I mean, it was anywhere, it was going to cross over Florida, go as far west as Texas and Houston, or it just might turn up towards in Georgia. So that's sort of what we're seeing right now, but the point is that the storms are out there. And as you've seen on the news, we continue to see more powerful storms, heavier rains, lots of flooding in areas that's been devastating for many communities. So that's why we have these meetings, that's why we talk about it, just so we can keep it in the front of our minds, that we can help to be prepared for it, that we can have a plan, we can have a backup plan, and we can sort of as a team and as a group talk about some of the challenges that you're facing, so everybody's understanding and has a better understanding of what they might need to do when an evacuation occurs. So I'm calling it right now, though. We're not going to have a major hurricane, Carrie.
So I hope we don't have an evacuation at all.
And we're not going to evacuate. So I'm calling it. We'll see what it looks like in November, but that's my call. Because I say it's Murphy's Law. If you don't prepare for it, it's going to happen. If you prepare for it, it's not going to happen. So I'm playing that card. We'll see how it plays out. So let me just do a high-level overview, and Carrie, feel free to weave in as we go through this in terms of just planning for your hurricane, the hurricane season. So a lot of the information you'll be able to find in those documents that we gave to you, the guide and the plan, and online, these additional documents that I shared. But first and foremost, as self-evacuators, it's really important to, one, assess what your needs are going to be if you're evacuating. What is that going to look like? Is it just me? Is it me and my pet? Is it me and my spouse and my pet, or two pets, or whatever it is? So what do you need to evacuate? Who needs to evacuate? And then that helps propel you into your plan and having a solid plan. And that plan involves a lot. So lodging, obviously a key. Transportation, yours, others. transportation routes, medicine, which is a big one. I was talking to Carrie yesterday, and she had shared that, and some of the other evacuations, and I also saw this in Hurricane Harvey. In some cases, residents weren't fully prepared for a long downtime with the inability to be able to get medicines. So as an example, if we need to evacuate and we're out of this community for 30 days, and that could happen, or longer, just be prepared that you need to have all your current meds, your prescription numbers, all that information, and that's why that document that we asked you to fill out was handy, that we have a copy of, but you should have a copy of that as well. Because if you need it and you're off-site and you need to use another pharmacy outside of the area that might not be your normal pharmacy, you're going to want to have that.
And this is a great time during the year that you can review your file of life. I think everyone, when you moved in, received one of those during your orientation. So that's that little red pocket with a magnet on the back that you put to your refrigerator. It's a good time to review that so that in the event that we do evacuate, you can grab that off of your refrigerator and take it with you. And that would include things like your prescription numbers, the medications, your physician, all of your emergency contacts as well. So that should be helpful for you, but also in the event that you have an emergency, it'll be helpful for your 911 responders as well.
Trying to figure out how to phrase it. Can you, prescription numbers, will they travel with you? In other words, can you call, because the pharmacy's here, and our doctors will be gone. You can call them. So, like, if we order calling CVS or.
Yes, and that is why you need to know the name of your prescription, the amount that you're taking, as well as the prescription number in your physician. The easiest way to know that information as well is to make sure you take your bottles with you. I know probably not all of you use bottles. Some of you may use those pill packets. Make sure that you bring that information with you as well, because that way, if you do need to, you can go to a pharmacy in person and show them exactly what medication you need to have refilled.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there's a lot involved with the plan. Financial resources is huge. Cash is king. So just ensure that you have some resources available to you in terms of cash, because chances are power's out. I don't know how far inland you'd have to go to get power to be able to, or to be able to get cash. But if power's out, you're not going to be able to use your credit cards.
Also, when you're traveling and you're driving, make sure you plan ahead depending on how far you're driving. You want to have destinations between here and there that you can stop and get gas. So think about those things when you're planning your route, know where you're going to stop to get gas as well.
Just going to move a little bit, because I think we're echoing off each other. How many folks have pets? Just a couple. Quite a few. So I think that's a wild card for you. If you have a pet, lots of hotels can be pet friendly, particularly in emergency events. But you want to be prepared for your pet as well. A little suitcase for your pet with the food and meds, whatever your pet needs, because chances are you're not going to be able to find a vet in an emergency situation. So just keep that in mind as well. I don't think boarding on the island is going to be an option if there's an evacuation.
No.
I know that I have pets as well. I've got 2 dogs, and when I go out of town, I board them at a location out in Bluffton. In the event that we do have a hurricane, that boarding location also has to evacuate. It's also a good idea that if sometimes managing pets in an evacuation can be a lot. If you've pre-selected a destination, you might even be able to find a boarding location that's near where you're going to be housed. Highly recommend that if that's convenient for you, you can take your pets into that location, but you need to make sure that you have your pet records with you. So that would include your most recent immunizations and making sure that your immunizations are all up to date. So dogs would be things like kennel cough. If you've got cats or dogs, you would definitely have to have rabies vaccinations. So those are all parts of owning a pet that we need to think about when we're evacuating as well. Also making sure that you bring your pet's meds. Or water or food when you're traveling with your pets as well.
Yeah, so, and then I think, so we talked about expenses. If you're self-evacuating, there's going to be a per diem. that'll be reimbursed to you. There's no need for you to hold on to expenses. I mean, you can track them for your own purposes, but we won't require that you turn in any vouchers or any types of expenses. It'll just be a daily per diem to help offset any cost. So we've heard some folks that are maybe taking a vacation if we have to evacuate. They're gonna take that fund, that money.
Yep.
Highly recommend. I think a couple of people in here have done that before. Yeah, plan a trip, make it an adventure if you can. Yeah, get out of Dodge, like really get out of Dodge and go have fun.
Somebody shared they ended up in Nashville, Grand Ole Opry, for a couple days.
Yeah.
Urban Trail?
Could be that. Some folks share that they're gonna visit family. Good opportunity to visit family. Somebody actually shared that their son was asking if they could get half a per diem. That helps you. And cover food costs. So, yeah, so we just hope we don't have to evacuate. But I mean, I see that in jest and fun, but the family is an option for a lot of folks. And even vacations and resorts. So,
Do we want to talk about the possibility of having a shelter in place? Because we have had a couple of those in the last couple of years.
we can. There is, so yeah, we have, the last shelter in place that we have is actually the winter storm. So who would have thought, not a hurricane, but a winter storm that was pretty impactful for us in our community. So, you want to take that then?
Sure.
Shelter in place?
So I know Michael mentioned to you all that there is a hurricane preparedness or an emergency preparedness icon on your app. We've also included some resources there for you all. There is a FEMA guide, and then there's also a guide that's on there from the town of Hilton Head. And they provide a really nice list of sheltering in place items. So that, I know if any of you were here last week when Tom Dunn was here, he mentioned 1 gallon of water per day per person. So that would be something that in the event that we shelter in place, you would want to have that with you, as well as, batteries and flashlights. It's not recommended to use candles or open flames because those can start fires, and in the event we had a shelter in place or an emergency, there's no guarantee that emergency services would get to you. So we definitely don't recommend open flames. You may even also want to have a battery operated radio so that, God forbid, our telecommunication systems go down, at least you have some source of news to listen to.
The website, the app on the website says there is no shelter in place. There's a mandatory evacuation.
In the event of a hurricane, yes, but we're talking about maybe like a tropical storm.
No.
A tropical storm might be a shelter in place event.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yes, you're right. I mean, good point. So if the governor calls an evacuation, we gotta evacuate. So, and as Tom Dunn had shared, and I have shared previously, that we will get that notification generally 24 hours before the general public gets a notification on Hilton Head. So, because we got a care center, and we will get that ahead of time, which is really great. Gives us a little bit of an advance. So, and then when if we evacuate, communication, I will be using Alert Media. That will be my main mode of communication. If you do have, if you're not getting any of the alerts or notifications that we sent recently, or feel there might be a challenge or a problem with getting them, please reach out to Carrie. She can double check to make sure we have your information. I haven't heard anything recently. I think we have some good tests of the system. We had some good tests last year, shelter in place. We had some good tests this year during the winter event where we had shelter in place as well. The only challenge that I found with the Alert Media system when I was really just sending out quite a few of them, because there was so much data and information, sometimes there was a little bit of a delay in it going out. So I don't, that was the feedback that I got from the team at Alert Media, but eventually everybody got them. There was a few hiccups here and there that we were able to fix with phone numbers, but we communicate in different ways. When I send a message, it generally goes out via text, via email, via phone. So there are the 3 methods. So if you're not here, you're gonna get it via email. You can still get your email, generally text or phone.
And that phone number that you receive those messages from Alert Media, that's also included in your hurricane evacuation packet. I highly recommend that you save that phone number into your phone, and you can save it as Tide Point Emergency. That way, you'll always get those notifications. Sometimes some people have it flagged as a spam because it is a mass email or a mass text message we're sending out to hundreds of people. So make sure you save that information in your phone. But it can also be useful so that if you get that message and you have questions, you can send us a text back and we'll get those text messages and be able to reach back out to you as well.
And actually in the handout that we've already shared, and it's also online, it does indicate the Alert Media phone number that you can program into your phone so it doesn't
Yeah.
potentially show up as, get pushed back because it's being viewed as a spam number. Yeah, so.
Same with the email address that you receive. When you get those emails, save that email into your contacts. That way you continue to get those and that doesn't get dropped into your spam folder in your email.
And then also in terms of communications, there's a website, V Senior Living maintains a website during emergency events where our corporate team will also share updates. So you can share that with your family if they want to try to get some of the latest information that's coming out from V. Give them that website. It's vlaiving.com. There'll probably be a banner right on the front of that.
On the top, right on the top is a bright red banner and it'll say in bold letters, Hurricane Updates.
Yeah.
Click right there on the very top of the webpage.
So that information is delivered to V directly from our emergency command center. So there'll be a meeting that we would have with V on a daily basis, sometimes twice a day, just talking about operations, what's going on, what are the issues, what are the concerns, what do you need. There'll be a big support for us, and then they will take that information, so it's really timely and live updates.
And also there's a 1-800 phone number we provide to you all that is directly to our corporate office in the event of an emergency. So if you call that number, you'll get one of our corporate representatives who you'll speak with, and they will relay any information, questions, updates that they have. They'll relay that down to our team as well.
So I'm going to shift a little bit, because I just mentioned Emergency Command Center, and just maybe give you what happens behind the scene. So generally, you know, we are aware that something is going on about 5 days out, maybe even longer. So like this unorganized hurricane that's sort of been tracked and popped up on my screen. Today's Thursday, probably over the weekend, might have been Saturday, and they had a projection even on Saturday in terms of what that might look like. So we're notified 5 days out. As soon as we get something that might look like it will impact us, you're going to start to hear communications from me. It could be as early as 5 days out. I know that's pretty far out, but you know, the sooner the better. And it could just be something as simple as that, hey, we're tracking a storm, and currently in the Caribbean. It's tracking towards our area. Start planning, start thinking about what you might need in the event of a shelter in place or an evacuation. Medications, water, food, all kinds of supplies, batteries, just a reminder.
And you can get those items ready now.
Yeah.
They're non-perishable items, so they're going to be kept throughout the season. And then, you know, if you get to the end of the season, you haven't eaten them, well, you can have them for a snack during the wintertime, or you can save them through the wintertime as well. So most of those non-perishable items are good for at least a year or 2 years. So go ahead, if you're not prepared yet, go ahead and get prepared now.
Yeah, so that's 5, and then we'll continue to do updates, 4, 3. As the storm gets a little bit closer, there's going to be more pointed guidance, particularly if it's tracking towards us. So we're not going to be calling an evacuation, but we might start saying 3 days out, be prepared. Chances are we might have to evacuate or something like that. Sure. Get your suitcases packed. So just to try to give you steps in the event that we need to go, that we can go. So, so I will communicate via the Alert Media, and if we get into an emergency situation, you'll also see the information on V Senior Living. So.
And do heed those warnings if there's a shelter in place. Do heed those warnings, please. I know during the winter storm, our security team did a great job of pushing people out of the snow. Let's not do that again.
Yeah.
We want you guys to be safe, but we want our staff to be safe as well. So if we ask you all to shelter in place, it's for a good reason. It's for your safety, and it's for the safety of the staff too.
Yeah, Carrie was just talking about some of the supplies that you might need. Having gone through Harvey, there's some lessons learned through Harvey, because what happened is there was so much water that it really shut down a lot of the water plants. So the pumps were submerged, they couldn't pump water, they couldn't clean water, you couldn't get water. So think what that means. Not only drinking water, right? So now we're thinking about flushing toilets, right? So we ended up using pool water. So, and our housekeeping team actually, because we had a lot of shelter in place folks, the housekeeping team would go around with buckets of pool water, you know, putting it into your tank so you'd be able to flush your toilet. But one of the other things that was really helpful from the resident standpoint is they filled the wash machine up with water. If you got a bathtub, they put quite a bit of water in their bathtub just in case they lost water. And for those folks that did that, obviously they had the water right there, at least for a time. And I think we were without water for about 5 days. So that's a lot of drinking water that we needed to have in house, and that was a lot of flushing water that was needed.
Wine?
Stock up. Suggest that you stock up. Zoran's probably got some good sales for you. Maybe we can do a free hurricane sale.
Sounds like a good idea.
So a lot of folks perked up on that one. So what's this? Maybe hear from you. What's on your mind?
I just have a comment. If at the end of this you have food left over that you're not going to eat, you can donate it to a place like the Deep Well Project.
And we do a deep well donation every year, and it's right at the end of the hurricane season, so right at Thanksgiving, so that's excellent. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yes, sir.
With respect to cash, it might be advantageous to take small bills.
Yes.
Because credit cards may not be usable.
Correct. If nobody heard that, make sure. Michael mentioned earlier, cash is king, but small bills. You want to make sure that you have, dollars, fives, and tens, not 50s and 100s. Yes, ma'am.
Just a word about the animals. I know it's not too many of you, but all of the really responsible places where people board, if you get that order to evacuate, they have to have a person to give your dog or cat to. And if they don't, the animal will go to a shelter. And that could be incredibly stressful for the animal. So, or maybe completely unsafe if it's a fast evacuation. So please make sure anyone you know with a pet knows this. It's very serious.
And please don't leave your pets behind.
Oh gosh.
Please don't leave your pets behind. If you have difficulty, catching your cat, call us. We will help you. Don't leave your babies behind. Yes, ma'am.
I thought in the past that South Carolina had passed a ordinance, a law or something, that during an evacuation, all the hotels had to take the pets.
That's actually a federal law now.
Oh, it's
Yes.
federal.
So in the event that a state of emergency is called, yes, all hotels have to accept pets.
Oh.
Yep.
That's all.
Oh, in the back.
Or about giving us telephone numbers, 800 numbers for hotel chains. What are those going to be handed out?
Our team is currently compiling that information for you now, and we'll post it on the app probably within the next couple, or by the end, today's Thursday, so by the end of next week, we'll post it on the app. But if you'd like a printed copy of it, check back with us next week. And that'll be available at the concierge desk.
Yeah, I'll also say just about the 800 numbers, a lot of hotels, you might already have that, but a lot of the hotels have an app that you can download that comes in handy as well. You put it right on your phone. Marriott's is called Bonvoy. I'm not sure, I would have just Hilton and Hyatt, I think it just might be named Hilton and Hyatt, but you can download them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's more of a comment, a question. When does our per diem start? Because if getting out of here is not easy, right? And if you wait till the last minute, you're going to spend a lot of time on the island. But you don't want to spend.
It starts when the evacuation is called.
Okay.
So if it's called, if we get the notice for the, I forget what Tom had a name, specific name for it. But I'll call it like the hospital evacuation, which is gonna be the same one we would get notified of, because we have a care center, and that would also be in effect for you as well. It'd be 24 hours before the governor calls, the main one. So that's when it would start.
The day we're told to evacuate.
Yes, sir.
That's when it starts, the day we're
Yeah.
told.
Mhm.
Thank
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
I have a suggestion as far as charging your cellular devices. Make sure you've got a cord in your car, because you may, when it's called, you may not be at 100%. You may be at 20% in it.
And it may be a good idea to have a power bank as well. I don't know, does anyone here use a power bank when they travel? It may be a good idea to have a power bank as well. And that's a great thing to mention also, is that if you are traveling or evacuating, hotels don't often have a lot of charging space. So make sure you plan accordingly. I think Tom Dunn had mentioned bringing a power cord, or anything that will extend the number of devices that you can charge. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
I would suggest you keep your gas tank on the full side.
Yes, yeah, don't go below half right now. Let's just throughout the hurricane season, don't go below half your tank. That's a good idea. Yes, sir.
Will our lifeline work when we're away from here?
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Yeah, I can.
I don't know, did everyone hear that last one? Your lifeline, that emergency pin that every single one of you has, make sure that it's charged. It will work during an evacuation. So if you are traveling and you're going somewhere else, it works, down the street at the grocery store. It's gonna work, all the way in Augusta.
So just talking about gas.
Bring the charger.
Yes, and bring the charger.
Yeah, definitely bring that. So talking about gas stations, you could expect, at least in the Northeast and even in Texas, if there's buzz about a hurricane or some type of storm, like we started to see lines 4 to 5 days out.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yes, so I would imagine it's probably the same down here. So good call. Half tank or better.
Yeah.
And bread, so yeah, get bread too and milk. They're the first to go.
And toilet paper.
Oh, memories of COVID.
So maybe we'll talk a little bit about returning from an evacuation. Things like, because we just mentioned non-perishable items, but if you're returning from an evacuation and your power has been out, you're gonna wanna throw away everything in your freezer and everything in your refrigerator. Please don't come home and say, wow, my milk is still cold.
Mhm.
It's not, throw it out.
I've got a suggestion I saw somewhere. If you take a glass of water, put it in your freezer, let it freeze, put a penny on top of it. When you come back, if that penny's at the bottom of the glass, you had lost power.
If your penny is anywhere aside from sitting on the top and you can pick it back up, you lost power. And everything has to go.
Just throw it out. Good.
Okay, so what's your biggest fear or concern?
Traffic.
Traffic.
Traffic, yeah.
Yeah.
Leave early. The earlier the better.
Yep.
You don't want to be stuck sitting in traffic. What could be a 2-hour drive could easily turn into a 6-hour drive.
Or much longer.
Or longer.
Thinking about this, it may make sense, and you touched upon it a little bit, but make arrangements long before. Always, most cases, you can cancel the hotel rooms. So
Yeah, so when we first get
five
that 5 days
5
out.
days before, if there's an inkling, why not?
Oh, so he had mentioned that you want to make accommodations early in advance. You don't want to hit the road and then start making phone calls. When we're starting to tell you all that we've got a storm 5 days out, it might be good of you to start calling those 1-800 numbers and making arrangements for 5, 6, 7 days in advance, because you can always cancel it 24 hours beforehand and not be charged for it. That way you know that you're secure, you know you've got somewhere to stay, and you're not waiting till the last minute, because everyone's gonna be waiting till the last minute. So we wanna be prepared, we wanna think ahead.
Just remember to cancel.
Yes, just remember to cancel. Yes, ma'am.
Will
when you reach your destination, fill your gas tank. I was in a situation where I evacuated, stayed in a motel. By the time I was ready to go home, there were places between here and there that the power was out and there were no gas stations.
Correct, and we had, so I'll repeat what she said. So she mentioned that she was in an evacuation situation where she drove and stayed somewhere, but then when she was on her way back, she did not have a full tank of gas. And so as she was traveling back, there were a lot of gas stations that weren't open. They didn't have power or they didn't have gas.
Or they ran out of gas.
Or they ran out of gas. So make sure that once you get to where you're going, fill your gas tank back up. Yeah, fill your gas tank back up. And that's another thing to be said, don't come back to the island before we are open. Because we're not going to open Tide Point back up until the community is open. And so if any of you listened to Tom Dunn last week, he mentioned that there are things that we have to do before we can open the island. And so that would be, making sure that our bridges are safe and operable as well as our roads. That also includes making sure that our healthcare resources, so our hospital is open, making sure that our fire rescue teams are able to attend to you all. But our fire rescue teams are not going to be able to attend to you until we do some major, debris removal. They're going to be focused on making sure that the people who are clearing your roads and making your home safe again are safe. So don't come back too early. Once the storm's over, don't rush back home. We will let you know when it's safe to return to Tide Point. So listen to those alert media communications that we're going to be sending out, and don't rush home. We want you to come home, but we want you to come home and be safe.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Would you refresh on our knowledge about the compensation or the reimbursement for while we're away?
Yeah, so for a single individual self-evacuating, the per diem is $450 a day. For a couple, it's $600 a day. So that would be reimbursed to you.
What about travel expense, and when does it start and when does it end?
So it starts on the day that we call the evacuation, and it ends on the day that we say that you can return to the community.
What if they're the same day?
That is a great question, because this happened before. That is a great question.
I would imagine you get reimbursed for a day.
Yeah.
Good point, though.
And it did happen.
Oh, so he's asking, is your mileage going to be reimbursed? Now, because you're getting a per diem, you no longer have to track your mileage. You no longer have to keep your receipts. So that actually makes it easier for you all. You all can just focus on taking care of yourselves, and you'll still get your per diem rate.
Yeah, so the per diem is inclusive of what carriers are sharing, lodging, food, any of those expenses that you might incur. Nashville, Four Seasons Hotel.
How do you know exactly, you leave here, people are scattered all over. How will we know when it's okay to come back?
Alert media. We will send a notice.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can anticipate you'll probably get daily notices. And it might even, starting 5 days out, we might do daily notices when we see a storm 5 days out.
Yeah, and you can count on daily updates when we're out. At least one, it could be two. I was talking to someone on the island and was hearing that one of the communities on the island evacuated to a retreat house. And it worked for them for 1 year, but when they were told they couldn't have alcohol at the retreat house, they never went back.
See Zoran for all of your needs.
It was a Christian retreat house. So, now we're not looking at any of those, but you never know where we might end up. So I wanted to share the next meeting at 11. We're going to have some visitors that help support residents here at Tide Point and the greater community. The company's called Right at Home. For any residents that feel that they might need additional support if they evacuate independently, you might want to hang out a little bit. If any concern to you or you want to hear that information. But I just wanted to put that out there. If you feel there might be a need, We're gonna have a company here that's gonna be able to talk about how they can support members in the event of an evacuation. So that's at 11.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Harry, where are you looking at right now, you think, for,
We always have a number of locations that we look at. So this has been true for all the years that I've been here. Augusta has always been one of those. A portion of Columbia, because we know that portions of Columbia do flood. So we look at a portion of Columbia that doesn't flood. And we've even expanded our searches to another location in Georgia and to a further location here in South Carolina.
Yeah, so if you, excuse me, I just want to add, as you think about some of the evacuation corridors. So like for us, right, you know, we're gonna be, if you get out ahead of the governor's evacuation, chances are you're not gonna be boxed in terms of the path you're gonna need to go. But once they call the evacuation, more than likely you're gonna be boxed into an evacuation route.
Yes.
But if you take a look at some of the other places that Carrie was mentioning, for example, Columbia, think about that evacuation route. That's Charleston evacuation routes. So that's it's like a beeline right down to Charleston. So, you know, we need to recognize that we're not the only ones evacuating.
Yep. Same thing I should have.
And who's to say that if the storm sort of rolls up 100 miles off the coast of Florida and then all of a sudden it turns towards us, we might be saying, hey, we're headed south.
Yeah, and be prepared as well that where you evacuate might still get hit by a storm. Some of you remember we evacuated to Augusta and we got hit hard. So make sure that you're bringing that emergency preparedness kit with you wherever you're evacuating. So continue to have basic necessities like water and non-perishable food items that you take in your car with you, just in the event that you encounter inclement weather in further locations inland. Yes, sir.
Gary, can you share the hotel names and numbers for where you would look in Columbia? Because we have no idea. It's Columbia.
Yes, so we're going to provide the 1-800 numbers, as Michael mentioned, with Hyatt and Marriott, but don't want to provide the specific ones because we're going to have a difficult enough time as it is getting housing for our care center and getting housing for our nursing staff to be with our care center residents and for the number of people who might need to evacuate with us.
Can you share where in Columbia?
Irmo. Irmo. Yeah, Irmo.
That's a
Town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will tell you that that obviously the western region of the Columbia area does not flood nearly as bad as the eastern region of the Columbia area. So you guys, that's another thing to think about as well. You don't want to take a vacation onto a river and then the river flood. So think about where you're going. The higher land, the better. Any other questions?
So as we wrap up this session, we're always available for questions. Encourage you to get onto the app, take a look at the resources on the app. We're going to get some 800 numbers for hotels out by the end of next week. I did want to also share for our friends with the book club that I laid this meeting on top of When You Always Meet. My apologies for that.
No problem.
So, mental lapse, but my apologies for that. So, forgive me on that one. Try not to do it again.
But if any of you are, a little shy or think of things that are come up into your mind later on, you know who your resources are. You can come and talk with myself or our wellness nurses. Michael is available. Come and ask the concierge some questions. And